Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Tom's Corner, where you can hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Okay, before I even go into our topic lesson today, I'm going to relate a story, and it kind of pertains to what we're going to go into. First, I will read the topic so you can prepare yourself. Do we often quit before the race begins? Okay, let that sink in. Tell you a story. When I was in junior high school, uh, I was pretty athletic. Uh, I could climb the rope in the gym all the way to the top with just my hands, like this, to the top. I don't know how many seconds, but it was pretty quick. And I was pretty athletic. The only thing I didn't like was I didn't like running. I didn't like any form of running. I could do anything with my upper part of my body, but that running stuff I hated. But anyhow, let's go on to this. Apparently, I was in what they call a decathlon, which means we had, I think, 4 individuals. Now, listen to me so I can show you what it is. Great big field going around, probably around where they would play football. Okay? And you would have an individual starter over there, and they pass the baton, which is a little piece of wood, round, about like that, to carry it. They would start there and run down to the guy there, okay? Now you got him to the corner there. Then he would come around there, I think it was, and then all of a sudden it'd come around my position. I was the end guy. And here's the way it worked. We went to a school. We didn't know anybody over there. They bussed us over or something, and we were going to run against this other school. Okay, now, we had our little white trunks on, t-shirt on, tennis shoes. So, we took our positions, and of course, they had different lanes. The other school had their man positioned there beside our guy, and then you go down, this guy, our guy, this guy, our guy. And I'm the last on there. Okay, here's the way it started. When they shot the blank gun, pow, bam. The other school shot out like a bullet. Our guy, right here. Their guy was already here. Our guy. And their school was running like crazy. Well, they were cheering their man on, and when they came around to me, they passed the baton to that guy beside me. Whoop! He was right there getting ready to go across the finish line. Our school finally come to me, passed the baton to me. I started out running, and then I just stopped. I said, what's the deal here? He already crossed the line. And here I was, I just stopped. You know what happened? In the stands, their school, all of them, began to cheer me on. They began to say, run, 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 run. And I'm looking at them like, good Lord, I done lost, but they wanted me to run. I gave it all I had. I ran my heart out like I was running, man, against the greatest runner that ever lived. I crossed that finish line, although so late it was pathetic, and they gave me an ovation. Yes, yes, yes. I ran. Quitters never win, but somehow that always stuck in my mind. Let's go to our topic lesson. Okay, Malachi 1 and 1 through 2. 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Isaiah by Malachi. I have loved you. Saith the Lord, yet you say, wherein? Number 2. Hast thou loved us? Hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Take that thought. Now, while you're thinking about that, the one he loved, the one he hated. Okay, apparently he knew something that nobody else knew at the time, but he knew it ahead of time. God did. Now, remember, the children of Israel came down through the lineage of Jacob. Okay, now, what does God hate the most? Here's a question. What does God hate the most? You know what it is? Is it not sin? Next is a poor sacrifice to God. When you offer up to God a defective sacrifice. Now, when you worship God, do you do it with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul? And this is something God demands out of you. And if you can't do that, God's not very happy with you. Now, don't give God your leftovers. In other words, do you pray to God? Okay, now maybe when you got time. Think about it. God hates that. Now, when you give God crumbs and not your whole heart, you cannot sin a little bit every day. It doesn't work. And think God still loves you. No, because he sees you're wrong and you're just giving him the garbage. You got to give him the best you've got. That's you. That's you. Okay. Willful wrong is a sin. Did you know that? Willful wrong definitely is a sin. That's like you premeditate a murder. It's wrong. It's sin. Think about it. Now, say you get an individual jumps on you. Now, accidentally you pull a gun and shoot him at the time. That's not premeditated murder. And that's what the problem with us today. We premeditate our sins. Did you know that? Yeah. What do I mean? Okay, you've already made it up in your mind that you're going to do this and do that, and that's sin. You know it's sin, and there's a penalty paid for sin, but yet you willingly keep going in your sin. Exodus 34:7, this is what God said to Moses on Mount Sinai. And 7, it says, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will no means clear the guilty. Ooh. Now listen to this part. Even though he forgives you of this, he forgives you of that, and he looks over your wrongdoings here, forgiving your iniquities and transgression and sin. Okay, that by no means clears the guilty. If you're flat guilty of that and you willingly go into that, that doesn't really clear you. You have to come to God in a humble and contrite spirit, what you've done. Most people don't do that. Go to church every Sunday, and they think that's all they have to do. No. And then go back and sin again. It doesn't work that way. Now, now listen to this part. This is the part I want you to hear. By no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers, now listen to this, the wrongs of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the what? Fourth generation. Do you know what that means? I'm going to go on. Here it is. Did you know that the crows pass down through their genetics to their offsprings, who their actual enemies are? Even though they never, if you want to mess with that crow in the family of crows, and that crow has little babies, little chicks, I guess is what they call them, that little chick knows that you're the enemy. Even though they never saw you before, and you didn't harm them, they will not come around you, because that is a program that's programmed through what we call genetics. And did you know genetics plays a big part in who you are, what you do, how you act? Okay? Let's go on. Humans also pass down through generations traits, okay, such as actions and weaknesses. Even body features are passed down through lineage. And I will use my family to explain this. For example, I looked exactly like my great-great-grandmother. I did. I thought she was a beautiful woman, and I believe she was. Okay, that trait comes down. I looked exactly like her. It amazed me when I saw her picture, and I said, wow, you know? My daughter is my mother made over. My great grandfather made moonshine for a living, and I'm sure he did sample his product. Okay, he drank a lot. Okay, my grandfather was a drunk. Yes, he was. Until when he got basically too old to get out there do it, and then he decided he was a preacher. Okay. Now our people are what we call antisocial people, and we've got a bunch of them that live side by side. Even when they live side by side next door to each other, never talked. One never talked to the other one. This did not. That is our trait. That is passed down through genetics. You want to know why? If you get grumpy and the fact that you don't associate with your family, you don't care about it, it comes down through lineage. Okay. Now, let's go on. Now, one of our main weaknesses is drinking. Flat dab drinking, man, tears you up. We are worse than actual Indians. You know how they said the Indians would go crazy when they give them whiskey and they go woo, 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 and all that crazy stuff? We're worse. And now listen to this. All these traits go down through our generation. All right, now here's the question. Can we stop this? The answer is yes. First, look at these things that are destroying us, then don't do it. In other words, if you realize through our lineage and history that we are natural prone to be drunks, never take the first drink. If you are addicted, an addictive personality, which most of our different variety of people have an addictive personality, and you realize you have an addictive personality, then when somebody offers you marijuana or offers you a pill, ecstasy or some other crap pills, don't take it. All it takes is one drink. Did you know that? I went to a bar. Never went to a bar in my life, basically on my own. But I did, and I've told this in other stories. I was into music, and I wrote music. I did songs. Back then, I wrote country music songs. And a friend of mine was in a band. He was the lead guitar player, and he was good too. And anyhow, he knew that I did music. He said, why don't you come along and we'll get you up there and let you sing some of your songs. Me, I said, hey, okay. Now I didn't drink, but I noticed in the bar, as time was going on, these people come up to me and want to buy me drinks. Hey, let me buy you a drink. Hey, give you a drink, give you a drink. Yeah. And my father drugged me to a bar when he was little, went to pay his bills, bar bill, which was more than the rent we were paying, and we lacked food because of that deal. But he had to pay his bar bill. And I'll give you examples. Some of you put this down. He had a bar bill back in the middle 50s. Every week, his bar bill was it was like $70. Now I want you to go back and think a little bit. $70 was a lot of money back then. So he drugged me in there and everything, and what he did, and this is a true story. We had hardly any food to eat. We eat beans all the time. Any kind of bean you want, we ate it. Fried beans, day-old beans, beans, whatever. So he took me. I was young. We didn't have enough food to eat, and I knew that. Brought me in. Well, first thing he did, it was his buddies there. Hey, set them up for me and my friends. Hey. And he said, here, boy, get what you want. Want peanuts? Here, get you some pop. And the truth is, I'm a little kid, but I had enough horses to know something wasn't right. And I'm looking at him like, huh? We're starving. Get in among these clowns. And all of a sudden you're setting them up. Hey, get a bit of drink for you. Hey. Well, this is what they were doing to me. And they were offering me drinks, offering me drink. I said, no, don't drink. But they kept pressing me. And what the story was, they wanted to get me involved in their sin because they couldn't stand the fact I'm sober, and I see how crazy they got as the time went on. And by the way, I did sing a few songs, and they liked it. They liked the songs, and I did what I wanted to do. And I sat back down. They came over, shook my hand, appreciated the songs, and really liked the song. Some of Merle Haggard's songs. Okay, and my own. And the guy that had the band, the basic lead singer, his girlfriend was there too. And when the guys got up to sing, she was here in a booth, and I was opposite her in the same booth. And all of a sudden, here she was, and she said, "Oh, you sing better than he does." And she was hitting on me. I thought, what kind of a place is this? And I realized that it's easy to get caught up in that. All you got to do, you want to fit in the crowd, just go down to a bar somewhere and get in there and get you some good drinks, and you'll feel so good you can't. And then by the time you're closing out, you will be slobbering drunk and be so happy. This is a lifestyle, and I chose not that lifestyle. And I'm going to tell you one reason why I didn't choose that lifestyle. My father would come in after the bar closes, otherwise he'd been there all night. And he'd come in 3 o'clock in the morning, and my mother had a job, and the reason she took a job is trying to get enough money to feed us and clothe us, because he wouldn't. So he hollered at her and everything. We're kids in the other room. We heard all this going on. And he got angry, and he said, "Fix me something to eat. Fix me something to eat now." And some of you live that kind of a life. If you're living that life, get out. Get away from that loser. I don't care, male, female, what. They do that crap, get out of there. I don't care if you have to stick and drink water out of a creek and eat off of a tree limb. Okay? Anyhow, here's the deal. Oh, he got angry, and mother was eating. All we had was spaghetti leftovers. Well, it didn't please him. She kind of heated it up good as she could, set the unit down, the pan down, the kettle down, and he could put it in a bowl. Well, it made him so mad. You know what he did? He reached and grabbed that handle, boy, and showed how the big man he was, slung that thing and throwed it all over that kitchen. When we got up, we had spaghetti from one wall going around the other. This is the type of life we lived. You know what caused that? Because he was not willing, as a young man, not to go drinking. He saw what his daddy did. Apparently he knew what his grandfather did, and so on and so on. Thank God for a mother that had instilled in us when we were young, don't do these things. I realize some people are weak, and they easily get caught up in that crap. And that's the truth. I saw so many of them do it because somebody talked them into it. They took the one, and then they took another, and then they keep going. Same thing. People today, recently, have passed away, and absolutely because somebody said, "Oh, this won't hurt you, take this." They're not alive anymore. Sometimes there's a big price you have to pay for what you do, okay? Don't pay that price, okay? Traits go down through the generation. Now, can we stop it? I told you, yeah. The answer is yes. First thing, look at these things that are destroying us, then don't do it. I never drink or smoke, which I told you I didn't do it because I saw the end results. I was able to break that cycle with God's help. God's help. I don't believe I could have done it without God's help. I was heading down a road worse than whatever my grandparents or father or any of them ever did. I was on a long slope going fast, and I knew that prison would be my home. because I was going that way, but God intervened. Thank God for that, because my life had changed, and it changed forever. Now, you basically can't do this by yourself. You can try, but okay, first off, if you're really going to try, do this. Get away from the losers. Get away from them. Get around people that's got some good horse sense, not stupid. Okay? You want to be stupid? Deal with them. They're all birds of a feather. They flock together. You know the old saying. All right. A God-fearing mother, she did help also. And you first have to have a desire to change. And sometimes it does not happen overnight. But I'm going to tell you something. Also, don't ever quit. Don't give up on God's help. God will help you through these things, and God will lead you out if you set your mind to it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And he said he'd add all these other things to you. He can give you a prosperous life. He can give you good health. But I'm going to tell you what, most people today, the good health they got, they're throwing it out the window. How? Take the garbage. Later on in life, you pay for it. God bless. I will see you the next trip.